Penguin Random House Audio presents The Guide by Peter Heller. Read for you by Mark Deakins. To Pop, who made me laugh and who always took the longest view. Prologue. They gave him a bunk in a cabin by the river. A wooded canyon, spruce and pine, with rimrock up high, and rock spurs that tumbled to the water. Jack dropped his pack on the porch. It was a cool afternoon with high running clouds that tugged their shadows over the canyon. He looked around. The cabin was on the edge of a steep bank in the shadow of the pines, and a staggered rush rose from the creek below and was carried by the sift of wind in the trees. A creek, really. They called it a river, but up this high it was his favorite kind of stream, an easy toss of a stone across and shallow enough in places to wade bank to bank. He studied the rhythm of it. It slid around a left bend and broke white through a jumble of boulders and coursed into a long black pool stuttered with smooth rocks. At the top of the pool he could see a pedestrian bridge and a fisherman's trail heading upstream on the other side. Trout water out of a dream. The shack was basic. On the narrow covered porch were a stack of split firewood and 2 cane rockers. He didn't really care what was inside. He thought he could sit on this deck and watch that stream for the rest of his life. The lodge was booked solid from August 20th, what the manager told him. They would close on October 31st or when the snow got too heavy, whichever came first. Jack would guide 1 fisher per day, or a couple, no more. Boutique fishing at its finest. $200 a day plus tips, 1 day off every 10 unless he wanted to skip it. Good money. Less than he could make running a drift boat on the Colorado, but it included food, lodging, and 2 drinks or 2 beers a night. After that, Jenny cut you off. We encourage the guides to hang out at the bar before dinner and converse with guests, but there's nothing sadder than a sodden fishing guide. Am I right? That was the manager, Kurt Jensen, stepping onto the porch and handing him a card with the key code to open the heavy art gate at the head of the drive. 2 giant rusted cams that rocked apart with a grinding of heavy chains and cogs that slid thick steel doors etched with leaping trout. You'll need it to get out and in. Why do you need a code to open it from the inside? Jack said. Kurt had pulled the screen and was shoving the cabin door with his shoulder. He was a big man, maybe 6'1", wearing a cowboy hat and a wool vest. He was gray at the temples and had grainy blue eyes, and Jack figured he was pushing 50. Door's sticky, Kurt said. I can get you a palm sander tomorrow. Forget it. I've got a flat file in the truck. Should work. If Kurt heard him, he didn't say. He was already inside, taking in the sparse log room. 2 small windows with tied-back lace curtains, a counter in back with a sink and 2 gas burners, a tiny bathroom with a shower stall, and an on-demand propane water heater on the wall. Baseboard electric heat and wood stove in the corner for ambiance, Jack guessed. For light, 2 sconces, bare bulbs behind metal cutouts of bears, and a reading lamp on a barnwood bed table. A Nest thermostat on the wall by the door over the 1 small bureau. Quaint. The bed was full size, just larger than a twin, with 2 Pendleton blankets. Perfect. The cabin was pretty close quarters. Jack had a cloth face mask in his back pocket, and he looped it over his ears, and Kurt waved it away. You won't need that around here. It makes the guests uneasy. Fact is, everyone but you has been tested, and Jenny takes everyone's temperature when they come into the bar every night. You don't strike me as a hang-out-in-a-crowd type of guy, so I'm willing to take the risk. You were saying about the gate, Jack said. I was? Yeah, why you need a code to open it. I mean, from the inside. So nothing just hits the button, like a coyote or some blowdown. The last one we had was always opening on its own and all kind of random public was coming in and they'd just start fishing. Walk right past all the houses and fish, until we ran 'em off. God. Sounds rough, Jack said dryly. If there was any sarcasm in Jack's tone, it didn't register with the manager. Kurt finished his survey and blew out with a near whistle. You won't believe how crazy fishermen get around this river. The locals call our stretch Billionaire's Mile. It's the private water all mixed in with public. Us, the Taylor River Lodge downstream, a couple other outfits. I wish they'd just shut down the whole canyon, give the landowners some peace. You need matches for the wood stove and an axe to split kindling. Got 'em, Jack said. He didn't mention that his own ranch on the Colorado, his and Pop's, was sandwiched between public water and they rarely had a problem. Okay, good. I'll help you with your stuff. Dinner's at 6:30. If you come early, you can meet Cody, the other guide, and your client tomorrow. Her name is Allison Kay. Kay? Famous. The famous guests use a lot of initials. Ha! Got it. Jack followed his boss out through the door, and they walked up the short path to the pullout in Jack's truck. What's with the bike? Jack said. There was a teal one-speed cruiser bicycle with a bell and basket. It stood on a kickstand in a patch of sunlight. Oh, that, yeah. One per guest. See how everything's spread out? Kurt waved his arm up the hill to the scattering of cabins in the pines. Then he nodded down the sanded dirt road to where Jack could just see the exquisite rambling log ranch house of the lodge and the small trout pond beside it. Hand-stacked stone chimneys, shallow roof lines with wide eaves and covered porches most of the way around. Rocking chairs and hanging geraniums. Jack nodded. You've got the main lodge, cabins, pool house, massage cabin, main desk with fishing shop, and no driving inside the compound. Except for me. No grin. Kurt nodded at his shiny black F-250 pickup parked in the road. It had a metal rack over the back with a ladder tied down and a sliding flat cover over the bed. The way Mr. Den wants it. He figured the bikes would give kind of a crested butte towny feel, I guess. The guests love them. We sell 'em. You wouldn't believe how many. Pink, green, and blue. Huh. They take them on the plane? Oh, we ship 'em for $200. I mean, they could get one off Amazon for half the price, but they want the actual bike they used here. So that every time their ass hits the seat, it reminds them of... He waved again. This. Kurt lifted one side of his mouth into a half-smile. You'll get used to it. Jack had a topper on his truck covering the bed, and Kurt reached for the latch on the back, and Jack put a hand on his arm. I got this, he said. Thanks. Kurt stepped back. Suit yourself. See you in a couple of hours. Did I say it's 1.5 miles of river? You, Cody, the guests, that's it. Me, if I ever have time, which, sad to say, I don't. Mr. Den doesn't even want the cooks or waitstaff or maintenance fishing. Most pristine water on the planet, what he says. We don't ever mention the dam or the reservoir up below the pass. Never mention it. In Mr. Den's mind, in the guests' minds, this is the wildest river on earth. Got it? Now, finally, a spark of irony flashed in his eyes. Yep. So our stretch starts at the first big meadow up top, down to the barbed wire at Ellery's. I think you'll have time to scout most of it before dinner. The rest, you can fake it. Jack gave him a thumbs up. When you're fishing upstream, don't go one step past the post at the start of the meadow. There's a sign on it, don't get shot. Not kidding. I think Kreutzer's got a goddamn spotting scope, and I know he has a rifle. One day he's going to kill somebody. No shit. Damn. I told you. Crazy. Batshit crazy. Kurt turned away, and Jack said, Oh,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?